Salutations everybody, it is Maddie here today, and we are talking about The Witcher 3. Now I gotta be honest with you, we gotta sit down, we gotta talk. If one of you came to me in 2015 and said, Maddie, I gotta be real with you, man, okay? You're gonna be making Witcher 3 patch videos all the way until the beginning of 2020, I would have called you crazy. But here we are, and this isn't just any patch. I think that this patch really hones in on one of the biggest strengths of the Nintendo Switch, but also can set a great precedent moving forward. Now, it's not just all CD Projekt Red. We must also tip our cap to the folks who mostly handled the port for The Witcher 3 on Switch and these patches, which is Saber Interactive. It was recently just acquired by THQ Nordic. For better or for worse, we shall see. But anyway, this is a collaborative effort, and we should know that first and foremost. Anyway, the goal of this video is to showcase just how special this patch is, put some of that patchwork on display, and ultimately talk about the future of some Nintendo Switch patches. So let's get into it with the patch notes, which will be linked in the description down below, but I'm going to read all of them to you here. Update 3.6, list of changes. It adds touch control support so you can play Gwent with your fingers now. You know, like on the screen. You can use your fingers for the buttons. You get what I'm saying. Added save file integration with GOG, Steam, and versions of the game for Switch from different regions. That's very important, and we'll get into that in just a moment. Added more text languages in selected regions, added more graphical options, added multiple performance optimizations, fixed various visual and functional bugs, various gameplay and crash fixes. So the things that we're really going to hone in today are, of course, the save file integration with GOG and Steam, and the graphical options / performance optimizations for The Witcher 3 on Switch. Now, the cloud save file integration we have actually seen with one other game on the Switch recently, which is Divinity Original Sin 2, what I personally claim is the best role-playing game of the last decade. Definitely give it a look, whether it's on console, PC, your Switch. This game is excellent, and Larian Studios, the developers of Divinity Original Sin 2, will be revealing their next game, Baldur's Gate 3, on Thursday this coming week, so be sure to keep your eye out for that. But back to my original point, Divinity Original Sin 2 on the Switch allows you to go onto Steam, take your save, download it onto your Switch, continue playing, and then when you're done, you can upload it back to Steam and continue playing on your computer. The Witcher 3 also allows that. I cannot take advantage of it, sadly, because, well, my first playthrough of The Witcher 3 was on the PS4, and according to PlayStation Lifestyle, there are currently no plans for CD Projekt Red to bring any form of cross-save functionality to other systems, so it's unique now to the Switch and the PC. I imagine down the line we will see future considerations, but as it stands, this is a Switch exclusive feature, and it makes sense because my first point is it hones in on one of the Switch's greatest strengths. The Switch has that portability factor, and I gotta be honest, I think Divinity Original Sin 2 benefits from this more than The Witcher 3. Divinity Original Sin 2 is an excellent game, but it's definitely guilty at times of having those sessions where you spend 3 hours in like a set of rooms, and while you got a lot done, you really don't feel like you did. And so being able to say, you know what, I don't want to be humped over my computer anymore, I want to go lay on the couch, and you can continue your save and do so, excellent feeling. Or you can start a new playthrough on the couch and say, I'm ready to go to the computer room, and you can fire it up there. Really good feeling. Same thing can happen here with The Witcher 3. The ultimate hope that I have is that this will impact the future of how Switch ports are handled. I'm guilty, just like any other Switch owner out there, of buying a game for the Switch just because it's nice to have said ports, but wouldn't it be better if we could benefit from double dipping in a manner? I don't think it's asking too much, and it can be a really beneficial aspect to the consumer. Let's say, for example, you're buying Diablo 3. I think that's a game that could really benefit from a cross-save functionality. I have a complete set of playthroughs on the PS4, and so for me to think of doing all the legwork once again on the Switch, it sounds unappealing. But what would be great is if I could, for example, take my save from the PS4, bring it on the Switch, and just get going with what I already had done. That would be excellent. Now, that is a game that's already out, but let's say, for example, Doom Eternal. It's going to be excellent on the PC. I mean, it looks beautiful. It is very much a PC game. But wouldn't it be amazing if that undervalued Switch component that is going to release for id actually had some value in the terms of, yeah, you have downgraded graphics, it's not going to be the high-flying 60 FPS, but you can cross save so you can continue playing as much as you want. This is going to be great for gamers who maybe have to commute more often, although it does involve that double dipping. I guess what I'm just arguing for here is more value for the fact that you have decided to double dip. So maybe you already have a save file in motion for The Witcher 3. You dropped it on the PC. You don't want to be playing it on there anymore. You can get the Switch version, download your save file, and then continue off from there. Of course, mods won't carry over, so just make sure you're aware of that. But what I also find extremely interesting is some of the post-processing options available now on The Witcher 3 on Switch, such as being able to change and turn off motion blur, bloom, sharpening, depth of field, light shafts, underwater effects, foliage, visibility range, water quality, and so on. The list goes on. There's a lot of ways to alter how The Witcher 3 looks on your Switch to maybe get a higher frame rate, to make it look even better. It's really impressive what they've done here, because I haven't really seen all too often this level of visual customization for the Nintendo Switch or many console games. In fact, most times when you fire up a game, they ask you if you want to do performance mode, which allows you to focus on frame rate, or you can do a graphical mode, which focuses on making the game look better, but it also knocks down the FPS. I personally am more of a performance mode person, but I gotta be real and say I have not seen this level of options on many console games in the past. Now, some of these options for The Witcher 3 on Switch may sound familiar, and that's because there's already a very good video in existence from just a couple of days after The Witcher 3 on Switch had launched from Modern Vintage Gamer, which I will have linked in the description down below. Do give it a watch. And essentially in this video, he manages to get the Switch version of The Witcher 3 to hit 60 FPS. And through this video, he discovered that The Witcher 3 used the PC version to set up the port of this game, and the modding community in turn discovered that applying a settings file from the PC to the Switch would unlock some of the post-processing options that we had already sifted through earlier in the video, and that's now publicly available through the patch. So perhaps maybe Saber Interactive and CD Projekt Red sort of shrugged their shoulders and said, oh, well, they already found out about it. Let's go ahead and toss it out there. But it's also a testament to how excellent this port is, because eventually through this video, as the title suggests, The Witcher 3 could hit 60 FPS if the Switch is overclocked and in 540p via the portable mode. Just the fact that it can hit 60 FPS with the altering of these options is impressive enough. Once again, it does take a modded Switch, but it's a real testament not only to the port, but just how cool having these options are. And seeing these options implemented in future console games would be really good for the gaming industry. And while some of my footage has shown to you guys the difference in the visuals, you can also see here, thanks to some footage from Digital Foundry, who I will have linked in the description down below, the difference, for example, of turning off anti-aliasing and seeing some of the dead pixels get removed from the screen. It's a much sharper image, it's much clearer, and ultimately makes The Witcher 3 even better on Switch. That's the thing, when I saw these options, I was like, oh, you can only dumb it down a little bit more perhaps, and in turn, you'll see The Witcher 3 perform better frame rate wise, and that might be good for some of the cutscenes. Okay, but seeing it look better and run the same, that's a really cool feeling, and it's sucked me back in for a little bit of time because it's so cool to be able to tinker with that stuff. Sadly, as I said, I do not benefit from the cross save stuff, but I gotta say, I'm really pumped for what CD Projekt Red has done here with The Witcher 3 on Switch. So a tip of the cap to them alongside Saber Interactive. And there's not much else to say, man. This patch is super impressive, and I hope that I could really get you guys into The Witcher 3 on Switch. If maybe you're on the fence, I'll have my Witcher 3 review for the Switch linked down below, and I'll talk with you guys soon. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. Lots of links down below. Apologies for that, but it's one of those videos. Big thank you to all the patrons who continue to support my content here. Next week is going to be super busy with PAX East, and I can't wait for you guys to see all the coverage I'm going to bring you. It's going to be awesome. I'm really pumped. I'll talk with all of you soon. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.